Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Temple of Speed that is the Autodromo di Monza. One of the best circuits in world motorsport today plays host to round 14 of FormulaXbox Season 7. I'm your commentator KGivesF1 with you as always today to talk you through the action. And while this is of course the Temple of Speed, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar, top speeds will be a little down today, given that the heavens have opened in what is usually such a sunny spot of the planet, just outside of Milan, and it's certainly going to prove testing for the drivers today. Braking zones are going to be tricky, traction zones are going to be tricky, and it certainly means that all of our drivers today are going to earn their money as they look to battle out for top honours. And claiming top honours in qualifying was Azar. Our championship leader starts this one in pole position, a 1:21.490, proving the benchmark that nobody could eclipse in qualifying, despite Mighty Midget making a damn good attempt at eclipsing it, just 0.066 behind, less than a tenth adrift in his Toro Rosso of our pole man. We've got a newcomer as well, Fred in the Williams. He starts this one from third spot on the grid on debut. Very impressive qualifying effort from him. Sinan in P4, and winner last time out, Mel behind Casey in what is P6 for this one. So how will the qualifying pace translate? Of course, qualifying was completed in the dry. How will that pace translate in this wet affair during the race, as we have 3, 4 and 5 red lights here at Monza? It's lights out and away we go. Very short hold. Who has got the best reactions here? It looks like Azar marginally's got a better start than Mighty Midget, but Fred seems to have got the best start of the top three, and he looks to be challenging the Toro Rosso on the outside as they head towards the Variante chicane. It's Fred on the outside and Mighty Midget. He'll have the inside at turn 2, but Mighty Midget in his Toro Rosso gets the superior traction and hangs on to second place. But out front in P1, it's Azar with the whole shot early doors here. Mighty Midget second, Fred third, Sinan in P4, and we're going to see a replay now of the start from Mel in P6, of course, as I mentioned, our winner last time out in Belgium, and he got a fairly decent start, but you can see it was actually Sinan in P4 who had the best start, but he just didn't have anywhere to go with it. It was a bit of a blockade out front with Mighty Midget and Fred looking to exchange positions. As we see now, Mel actually getting good traction off a turn 2, but just gets a little bit of oversteer in what must have been 5th gear, and ultimately that gives Casey all the advantage he needs to retain the P5. So it really is status quo all the way down to at least P7 on this start. Unfortunately, we've seen very little carnage at turn 1 and turn 2 here at Monza. It's so tight that you often see a few front wings come to grief, and ultimately it seems like all our drivers have got away with this one. We saw a Williams just hopping across the chicane there. I believe that was Jurassic Midget. He looks to be the only one that had to cut the corner as well. So ultimately a very clean start. Hopefully that continues. And we even saw from EIusiveKev all the way down in P13 that ultimately it was very clean towards the back as well, despite the Constantina effect. And as you can see, he goes down the outside of Figli, his teammate, heading into the Roger chicane, but can't make that stick. Very little grip on that part of the racetrack, and Kev loses a bit of ground but retains P13, or has he? Because that's a very, very wide at Lesmo 1. He's on the grass, he's dropped 2 places, and that is now Kev down in dead last. Can he recover and score some points on what could be a day for those people towards the back to really mount a bit of a point scoring effort? As we see down the inside goes Fred on Mighty Midget, I should say, excuse me. So Mighty Midget drops down to 3rd place, Fred now up to P2. Can Mighty Midget respond? He's going to have to, you'd imagine, if he's going to be able to halt Fred's progress. He seems to have great pace and confidence in these wet conditions, and as you can see, Azar isn't that far up the road either, so either of these two guys could have a shot at this race win, as Azar has not managed to scamper off down the road on that one. So it's now Azar from Fred, from Mighty Midget, our top 3. Sinan still holding station in P4, and Mel looking to the outside of Casey Legend into Parabolica, and that is tremendous from Mel. Very, very late on the brakes indeed. Has he got it done though, because Casey is coming back at him. Bit of oversteer won't help either on the exit of Parabolica, and here comes Perez as well. That proved very costly, that oversteer, and Perez has got some outstanding straight line speed there as he looks to overtake the Mercedes as well, and goes up from P7 to P5 in a matter of a few hundred yards. And so it's down the inside from Mel, not wanting to give up what is now P6 without a fight, and Casey's now demoted as he struggles to traction out of Variante, and that is now Mel back up in the P6, who's back where he started after all of that. Casey, the big loser there, dropping 2 places in the space of 3 corners. And we see now, look at the bottleneck behind us as a replay from Sam's perspective, who gets it all out of shape on the way out of turn 1, was so close to the back of Drastic Midget there. And the 3 guys ahead, Perez, Mel and Casey, of course, who we saw battling just moments ago, really did bottle up the pack behind. And Vapid's in there as well, and what is P8, and he made contact with Drastic Midget, and that is Drastic Midget round. We're going to see a replay of all those shenanigans from Drastic Midget's perspective now. And as you can see, there's Mel and Casey up ahead, really scrapping it out for P6. Vapid sniffing all over the back of those 2 in P8, and Drastic Midget drops away behind those guys up ahead with Sam all on his gearbox. But as they try and pick out their braking zone and not run into each other heading into Roger's chicane, look at that, Drastic Midget gains so much time on the brakes, fancies a look at Vapid, but on the, just always going to happen there. 2 into 1 into the second part of the Roger's chicane is not a good idea, and Drastic Midget was bitten there for a little bit of over ambition, I think, as we see Nor heading around the outside of Samham there for P12. Samham getting it all wrong in the Renault, and he's got it even more wrong as I say that, as he's headed straight off to the left there and into the polystyrene barriers, and that is going to seriously compromise his race. Here we go, so we saw Nor go around the outside of him, and it looks like, Kung Fu Kenny Jack just gets a bit of oversteer on the exit of Varianti, and running so close to the Renault, that was enough to force him into the Renault side pod, and around she went, and that was game over, well, at least game compromise, shall we say, in the case of Samham, as we saw Drastic Midget there putting some manners on EIusiveKev. Midget, of course, trying to recover from his earlier issues, and bit of wheel banging from FormulaXbox's 2 most experienced men there, but fortunately no harm done, and very, very tough racing there from Drastic Midget, but a good move nonetheless, as we see Sam now making a move on what is the Sauber of Feely through turn 1 and 2, but Sam gets it all on the curb through turn 2, and that gives Feely the advantage coming out of the corner, and there goes Nor as well, opportunistic as you like in the Red Bull. He makes his way past Sam for P10. These guys battling out hammer and tongs for what is the final points paying position at the moment, or the final 2 points paying positions, and well, that's Nor out of the equation as he hits the back of Feely. I think there may have been a bit of lag involved there, but Nor definitely coming off worse out of those 2. We're going to see a replay now from Nor's perspective. So he just gets superb traction off of turn 2, and he's going to get a run on the Sauber as they head towards the Rogers chicane through Curva Grande. Look at the overspeed, Nor just hauling him in, and looks like Feely just slows down a little bit, and that sends Nor into the barriers. Puncture as well for the Red Bull. That is very, very bad for his race. On lap 3 it's pretty much game, set and match without any safety cars at least, and Nor very much an innocent party there really, that just got caught out by potentially a bit of lag and then just running a bit too close to that Sauber ahead, and a little bit of a change of direction from Feely ultimately proved very, very pivotal to Nor's race. We see Sam now going down the inside into Parabolica on Feely as well, so Feely certainly having a busy time of it at the moment. Sam getting all out of shape on the exit of Parabolica as he looks to close off Feely, and that's a contact between them, and that is Sam into the barriers. That's Feely in the wall as well, and that is game, set and match for Sam. That is his day done. You're going to see the aftermath from Kev's perspective now. Feely diving into the pit lane. He's managed to survive that particular incident, but Sam has definitely come off worse there. His day is done, and that is his chance of points extinguished. But as we've got a safety car deployed now, that is going to be great news for Feely. That's going to bring him right back into play, as is a great news for Nor as well. He'll be back in the mix too. So as we see now, lap 8 of 27, and it's Perez who hasn't stopped yet, who has the whole shot here and leads us on the restart from Mel, from Vapid. So we've got a mixed up order now, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as the race progresses. Azar, Fred and co, who we saw the early front runners, have pitted, as we see now Mel having a look on the outside of Perez into Varianti. Perez going defensive, Perez showing Mel the outside of the road there, and that has just about halted the McLaren man's progress. So that is well defended there from Perez. He didn't quite get the restart he wanted, but he certainly defended that P1 very, very well indeed, heading into turn 1 and 2. And Mel just had nowhere to go with the excellent overspeed that he had. So as we look a bit further back now in the field, Drastic Midget in P10 recovering from his speed. Of course, he was a winner out of all that safety car shenanigans as well, because that of course means that he makes up for that time he lost in the earlier contact with Vapid. He goes round the outside of Samham, can't make it work though, and Sam retains the position for now in the Renault. Jurassic Midget having to settle back into P10, but for how much longer? As we see him getting all out of shape through Ascari, through the first part at least, and through the second part. That's compromised his exit a little bit, especially now he's got it all out of shape once again on the exit. So Jurassic Midget struggling for grip on the restart, maybe not quite enough heat in his tyres at this point, as we see now Mel coming under attack in P2 from Azar. Perez has cleared off up the road. Azar is in hot pursuit as he goes down the inside into Varianti. Mel just about gets it stopped very late on the brakes. Audacious stuff there from Mel, very good in defence, but Azar with superior traction, superior grip from those tyres, still gets the job done on traction. Out with Varianti and through Curva Grande, he now sets his sights on Perez's P1, or can Mel come back at him? No, Mel well served to sit back in P3 for now. He's not really in the battle for top honours in this one at the moment, and so he's pretty much well served to hold station behind Azar, maybe let the Ferrari tow him back up to the leader Perez, and really salvage what would likely be a P4, maybe a P5 for Mel at this point. Azar is just not his race at the moment. It seems like after all that safety car incident and intrigue, it's still going to be Azar and Fred who are going to battle this one out for victory. As we see Kev now passing Law, who got all out of shape on the exit of Ascari, and that is now Kev on the fringes of the points at the moment in P11. So Feely is now P5 after all that. Like I said, the safety car really brought him back into play a treat, and so him in the Sauber now, one of those who of course stopped under the safety car, is really in the mix, and Casey has been really compromised by that bit of lag there. Unfortunately for Feely, just lagged back into the path of the Mercedes. Absolutely nothing that anybody could do about that. Very, very unfortunate stuff indeed. And so that is Feely who's back in the mix and back at it again in terms of compromising other people's races. But you can't say anything against Feely there. That was totally luck of the draw, and Casey unfortunately coming off with some bad luck there. And on lap 13 of this one, coming up to half distance, we have another safety car deployed. Not entirely sure what this one is for, but ultimately it's going to draw the pack close together once again. So as it all shakes its way out once more, we've got Azar, who's in second place at the moment, Fred in third, Mel fourth, Feely fifth, Mel sixth I should say. It's actually Samham who's leading this one. The order is changing all the time, and so Samham, who has played his way to the front of the field with strategy, is now in the pound seat if he can hold on to track position, but it's going to be very, very unlikely indeed. Fred is actually P2, so it's Azar P3, Perez P4, Feely 5th, Mel 6th, Vapid in 7th. You see Perez going wide at Lesmo 2. That has allowed Feely through. That has also now allowed Mel through. So that battle that we saw earlier on between Perez and Mel has now got the better of him track position wise, and so Perez is going to have to work his way back past again. But as we see there, Sam Ham, who goes off the road at Varianti, is now down, well, he's well down the order, P4, P5, P6, P7 even maybe now, as we see Perez now looking to make a move on Mel. Outside line through Curva Grande, that'll give him the inside into the Roger chicane. Who's later on the brakes? It looks like it's Mel for now, but he's too late on the brakes. Bounces over the curbs there, and that is going to give Perez every opportunity he needs to make a move into Lesmo 1. Mel hanging out on the inside, gets a bit of a swapper on the way into the corner, compromises Perez's line, pushes him offline, and that has allowed Vapid to get up the inside of the Toro Rosso. So Mel has got an absolutely massive train behind him, a trolley train you could even call this one, as it's all getting very, very claustrophobic in behind. 9 laps to go here, and it's a very, very busy one indeed. So you see Samham, this is a replay, he just lost all his speed, having had a compromised line through turn 1. Jurassic Midget has dropped down a position there, Mighty Midget's picked him off, and it looks like Mighty Midget wants to try and pick off the Renault of Samham as well, who seems all over the show at the moment, having just lost the lead. Can he regroup? And well, but it looks like he does regroup. As you can see, it's still a massive train all the way from P4 all the way down to what must be about P13 at this rate, as we see Mighty Midget looking to make a move on Samham now. He's got the outside line as they head towards Varianti chicane, but I think he's going to have it done before he even gets there maybe. He's been late on the brakes. Samham's late on the brakes as well though, and just trails it off, bounces over the curbs, slots in front of the Toro Rosso there. Fantastic defence of his position from Samham. It looked like Mighty Midget had it done, but Samham had other ideas there, bouncing over the curbs in dramatic fashion, but it looks like he may have given it away through Lesmo 2. That's given Mighty Midget great run on him as they head up towards Ascari, and yeah, Samham tucks in behind into what is now P8. Mighty Midget finally has some clear track up ahead of him to show off some of that pace that put him on the front row of the grid. But ultimately, he's not had a great race. These conditions just don't seem to have suited him, and he's been unfortunate at moments, having to battle it out for the lower points paying position at the moment, as we see Kev getting it all out of shape at the minute in P9. Jurassic Midget is surely going to have a run on him now to snatch that P9 away from him and snatch another point. So Jurassic Midget takes that place. Kev still in the points though in P10, so it could be an opportunity for him to grab a point or two today in this one. 7 laps to go and Kev looking good for a point scoring finish at the moment. Mighty Midget now has caught up to the back of Vapid on lap 24, having a look to the inside of Varianti, but he was a long way back. Has a little nose up the inside, but can't get it done there, but gets great traction with a bit of a switchback move on the way out of Varianti. A little bit of oversteer, but holds it well. He's going to have the outside line through Curva Grande, the two of them side by side. Vapid versus Mighty Midget as they head towards the Roger chicane. Who's going to come out on top here? It's super late on the brakes from Mighty Midget. Can he get it stopped? He can. Fantastic late braking move there from Mighty Midget, who we've seen some tremendous racecraft from today. So very, very good stuff from him indeed. Driver of the day as far as overtaking moves goes. Very, very good stuff from him indeed. As we see now, the close of this one, and it's Fred who wins in fantastic fashion, you got to say, in wet conditions on debut no less. From third on the grid, he takes top honours here, and 25 very, very valuable points. Azar in P2, our championship leader, on a wet day in Monza, a second place with all of his championship rivals behind him, is not a bad effort at all from Azar as he goes marching on for his first FormulaXbox crown. Feely, who of course we saw in the wars on several occasions, having a little bit of contact with Sam, with Casey along the way, manages to recover from all those incidents and action into third place. So a very, very solid effort from Feely despite the lag that he seemed to be suffering from. So a very, very good job from him indeed. Mel goes up from P6 on the grid to P4. He gets the better of Perez in what was a race-long battle between the two of them, and as you can see there on the results, just 1/10 of a second split the two across the line. So very, very interesting to see, especially those race-long battles. They do provide plenty of intrigue. Vapid, the man who consistently keeps finishing in the points, finishes P6 in this one and continues that run of form. Casey in P7 after his incident where he lost his front wing. Mighty Midget in P8, Drastic Midget in P9, EIusiveKev rounded out the point scoring finishes in P10. And a word for Sam Ham, he led this race at one point, he finishes it in 11th place, a 1 minute 13 seconds off the lead, which just goes to show that you just cannot tell what's going to happen in FormulaXbox races. It can all turn on its head in the blink of an eye or the call of a safety car. But I hope you've enjoyed this one today, folks. There's plenty of action and intrigue along the way. You don't often see a wet race in Monza, but ultimately when you do, it brings the very best skill out of all of our drivers. Some very, very good racecraft today and some very, very interesting racing indeed. Until next time, when FormulaXbox will head away from Europe and into the Asian leg of the season, heading to Singapore for F1's night race. We shall see you very soon. I've been K Gibbs F1. This has been FormulaXbox on Monza, and goodbye.